Hello, folks. Welcome to today's football predictions on Betcraft. Okay, today is another beautiful Saturday morning, and we do have so many games going across the globe. Including UEFA Nations League, and some other games going on. And amongst these games, we're able to select a few of them, just as we do every day. And we looked into this game before bringing it forward for you. And in a short while, we'll be going up, looking up these games one after the other. And we're looking at how they performed in recent games, and also how they fared in the head during playing from home and also playing from away. And with all of this, we'll be able to make our verdict on each of these very encounters. All right. But before we head on, I want to ask the folks who are coming across our video for the first time that are yet to subscribe to kindly take our time to hit the subscription button down there so that you don't miss out on our games that will always come up on this very channel on a daily basis. All right. Okay, without further ado, let's get to the business of today, and we'll be starting with the very first match, which is the UEFA Nations League match. Where we'll have Cyprus who will be facing Romania. And looking at each of these teams, Cyprus, the home side, have actually won 2 games in the last 6 matches, but they've also had 3 losses as well as 1 draw in the last 6 matches that they had so far. And when you look at the away side, Romania, you can see that they've won 3 games in the last 6 matches, and they've had 2 losses as well as 1 draw in the last 6 encounters for Romania. And when you look at how these two teams are fared from home and away perspective, you can see that playing from home, Cyprus have actually won 2 games in the last 10 home games that they had so far. They also had 1 draw, but have lost a whooping 7 games in the last 10 home games that they had. We saw them losing to Kosovo by 4 goals to 0 in the last home game that they played out. So far, that tells you a lot about this very team. Not the best side even when playing from home. And then when you look at the away side, Romania, in the last 10 away games that they had so far, I've seen them producing 4 wins out of the last 10 away games that they had. And they've also had 4 draws as well. And they've lost 2 games out of 10 matches that they played from away, in recent times. Looking at how these two teams fared when they met each other, that was far back to 2011, and it ended a 1-1 draw on that occasion. But in this very one, seeing Romania in their performances in the concluded Euro, we saw them, achieving results, unprecedented result against Ukraine, and also doing very well in recent times. And we do expect to see Romania side, rising to the occasion in this very one, and defeating that Cyprus side, who have actually lost the last 2 home games. All right, it is their win side that's expected to win outright in this very one. I will win, that's all right, for that very encounter. And that takes us to the next for today, actually in Danish third division, where we'll have Brabrand, who will be up against the Holstebro. And we look at Brabrand, the home side. They've actually won 4 games in the last 6 matches that they have so far. But they've also had 1 draw and 1 loss in the last 6 games that they had in recent times. And when you look at Holstebro, their away side, they've actually achieved 1 draw, but they've lost 5 games out of 6. That tells you a lot about this side. It means that in the recent times, they've not been able to achieve a very good result, seeing that the most they could muster is actually a draw against out of the past 6 matches that they had so far. So when you look at how looking at how they fared in recent times, from home and away perspective, you can also see Brabrand, the home side, in the last 10 home games have managed to achieve 6 victories in the last 10 home games that they have so far. They've lost 3 out of those games, but they've also had 1 draw. And the last 5 home games for the home side have resulted to 4 victories and 1 draw in the last 5 home games that they have so far. That tells you that playing from home, this is a side that does very well when playing from home. So Brabrand is a very good side. And then we look at the away side, Holstebro, have actually won 5 games in the last 10 away games that they have so far, but have lost 5 out of those 10 away games. And the last 5 away games that they played out have saw them losing out 4 out of those past 5 away games that they have so far, and they've won 1. So that tells you that not the best side in recent times playing from away, and in this very game, and when you look at how they played the last time they met, which was actually in the club friendly in July last year, they played out a 1-1 draw on that occasion. And in this very one, we know that Brabrand is actually in the fine form, seeing that the last 4 home games for the home side have actually resulted to 4 wins for the home side. That tells you a lot, and it means that when playing from home, they always achieve a very good result when playing from home. So in this very one, we'll expect to see the home side achieving a result in this one. So it is a home win or draw, and under 4.5. That's our party for that very encounter. Right, that takes us to the next for today. Actually, in Egypt, In English League Two, where we have Gillingham who will be up against Accrington Stanley. And when you look at how these two teams have performed in recent games, you can see that for the home side, Gillingham, they've won 3 games out of the past 6, but they've also lost 3 out of those 6. All right, and the away side, on the other hand, Accrington Stanley have been able to manage 1 win, 1 draw, but have lost 4 games out of the last 6 matches that they have so far. All right, taking a look at the performances from home and away perspective, you can see that playing from home is actually Gillingham, who have been able to manage 5 victories playing from home. They've also lost 3 games in the last 10 home games that they had, and they've had 2 draws as well. And when you look at the away side, Accrington Stanley, in the last 10 away games that they had so far, have resulted to them losing all 10 away games. All right, they've lost the entire 10 away games that they played out so far. That tells you that this is now the best side playing from away. And also, the last time they met was in January. We saw Gillingham beating this side from away by 2-1. All right. Prior to that, we also saw Gillingham also beating this side from home. That was last year, August. And we saw Gillingham winning them by 1-0 on that occasion. But in this very one, our verdict is actually the home side, Gillingham, to achieve a result in this, to win out shortly in this very one. It is a home win. That's our value for that very game. All right, and that takes us to the next, and it is in Northern Ireland Championship, where we have Ballinamallard coming up against the Bangor. On looking at how these two teams fared in recent times, Ballinamallard, the home side, have won 2 games, but have lost 4 out of those 6 recent matches that they had. And when you look at Bangor, the away side, out of 6 games that they played so far, they've won the entire 6 games that they played out so far. And looking at how these two teams fared from home and away perspective, you can see that from home, Ballinamallard at the home side have won 4 games. They've also had 1 draw, but have lost 5 games out of the past 10 home games that they had. And they've also been able to, they've actually lost the last 3 home games that they played out so far. The last home game they had was against Coloring. They lost that match by 4-0. And when you look at Bangor, the away side, Bangor have managed to achieve 5 victories from away. They've had 1 draw, they've had 1 loss, and also they've had 4 draws in the last 10 away games that they have so far. So Bangor, their away side is quite better, judging by the statistics that we have. And looking at how these two teams fared the last time they met, it was Bangor who had victory against this side from away. It was a 4-goal victory against Ballinamallard in March this year. And we saw Bangor also Ballinamallard also defeating Bangor from away. That was in October last year by 3-0. And that has been the trend. And in this very one, looking at the trend, and we could see that the last 10 head-to-head meetings for both sides have resulted to lots of goals performances, and it is 8 games out of 10 that actually saw above 3 goals in their last 10 meetings. So it is over 2.5. That's the most likely result in this very encounter. So we expect to see a minimum of 3 goals appearing in this very one. So over 2.5, that's our value for that very encounter. Okay, and that takes us to the next, which I'm going to be the last for the day. Also, Northern Ireland Championship, where we have Dundela, who will be up against Armagh City. And when you look at Dundela, the home side, they've had 3 wins in the last 6 encounters. They've also had 2 losses as well as 1 draw in the last 6 recent encounters. But when you look at the away side, on the other hand, Armagh City have won 2 games out of the last 6, but they've also lost 4 out of those 6 recent matches that they had. And when you look at how these two teams have fared from home and away perspective, you can see that Dundela, the home side, have won 2 games out of the last 10 home games that they had. But they've also had 1 draw, and also they've lost 7 games in the last 10 matches that they had from home. And looking at the Armagh City, their away side, they've won 3, they've had 1 draw, but they've lost 6 games in the last 10 away games that they have so far. But when you look closely, it is about the goals that they're scoring in these very encounters. Seeing that for the home side, it is actually 8 times out of 10 that they've had over 2.5 in the last 10 home matches that they have so far. And also looking at Armagh City, their away side, and when you look at closely, you can also see that 8 times out of 10 they've actually seen a score line that is actually over 2.5 in their matches. So from away even. So when you look at how they fared from the last time they met, which was in far back 2015, they had a 1 draw, and prior to that we also saw in 2014 5-2 victory against Dundela for Armagh City. But in this very one, the goals verdict is quite befitting for this very match, and we expect to see a minimum of over 2.5 goals in this one, seeing that in recent games both sides have actually resulted to lots of goals. It is about 2.5. That's on Friday for that very game. And that brings our predictions for you today on Betcraft to a conclusion. I wish you the very best of luck, and I hope your ticket goes green. Also, remember to play responsibly. These are football games. Anything can happen in football. All right, that being said, tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow is Sunday, and we're having our Sunday Millionaires game tomorrow, and we'll try and enter out and see how it goes. All right, do not miss out. But until then, keep winning.